Hi everybody, something a little bit different this time. This isn't really a Let's Play video per se, it's really just a video for me to talk about some crud that's been going on. And I'm going to do it while playing Kosinka, which is a very nice little DOS game apparently by a gentleman named Sergei Ryzhkov. I do hope I pronounced that fairly closely to how it's supposed to be pronounced. It was distributed in the USA by Everett Kaiser, who, those of you familiar with the DOS freeware scene probably recognize that name. He produced several fairly well-known freeware DOS games at the time. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clear this and start the game. Kosinka is basically Klondike Solitaire. It's the classic Windows, well, this is for DOS, but it's basically the classic Klondike Solitaire game, except with one key difference. It uses 2 decks of cards, so instead of 52 cards you have 104, and so basically you have 2 of each card. There are 2 aces of diamonds, 2 of every card, because there's 2 decks. Other than that, it's just your basic Klondike Solitaire. So I'm probably going to play this horribly because I'm going to be focusing a lot on what I'm saying as I'm playing, so forgive me. I'm probably going to do a horrible job of playing the game, but anyway. Okay, so the reason I'm making this video is, you might be able to hear it actually. If I sound a little bit different, it's because I got a new microphone set up for my computer. I got sick of the, well, here's what happened. Let me go ahead and start the story from the beginning. A few weeks ago, my sound card suddenly stopped working. I was listening to some YouTube video or whatever, and the audio just suddenly cut out completely. I just couldn't hear anything. And I thought that what had happened was my sound card had died, and I don't know why. I mean, I couldn't figure out why that might happen, but I just thought, okay, I'll get a new sound card. And the sound card I'd had at that time was just a basic Sound Blaster 16 PCI. By today's standards, a very Spartan sound card, but it certainly got the job done. I mean, I don't need surround sound, any of that kind of nonsense. All I really want is just a basic sound card that'll yeah, so anyway, so the Sound Blaster 16 PCI was quite adequate for what I needed to do, but it just suddenly stopped working. So what I did, I went out and bought a Turtle Beach Riviera, because I'd always wanted to have a Turtle Beach sound card, because I'd never had one before, and I was always curious, because I'd heard good things about them. People say they're a nice alternative to the Sound Blaster line, so yeah, I got a Turtle Beach Riviera and installed it and tried it out, and it seemed to work all right. It actually seemed to have slightly better audio, in my opinion. It seemed to have slightly better playback. I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination. It seemed like the bass, the lower frequencies seemed a little bit better rendered with that card. I could be wrong. But that card was absolutely horrible for recording. It had very poor microphone response. I ended up, I started off using the same microphone that I'd been using for all my previous Let's Play videos, and the sound quality was just abominable. It was so muffled and faint. I figured, okay, the microphone amplifier on this sound card is not very good, so I went out looking for a better microphone. But what I ended up doing is I got a whole kit from Radio Shack, which includes it's got a little mixer / preamplifier kind of thing on it, which it's almost the kind of thing that you would see in a professional quality audio setup. I mean, it's not quite like rock concert quality, but it's good enough for like a whole building's PA system or something like that. And it's probably overkill for just making Let's Play videos, but I just got really sick of fumbling around with the cheap junk microphones that they generally sell for PCs. So anyway, so I got this whole setup, and it actually takes like real microphones. It actually plugs in. You can plug real microphones, i.e. those with a 1/4-inch input instead of the little 1/8 of an inch input that most PC mics have to use because of space constraints. Because of space, most PC microphones use the tiny little 1/8 of an inch mini jack, whereas most professional quality mics use a 1/4-inch input jack. So anyway, and that's what I'm using right now. Right now I'm using this. I'm using a real 1/4-inch. I think it's a dynamic microphone. It's not a condenser. It's just a regular dynamic microphone. But it's I think the sound quality is not too bad on it. But when I first started using this little mixer preamp thing, the sound quality I got out of it was pretty good. But there was this horrible screeching sound. Every time I tried recording with it, I got this just abominable background whine, which just was not acceptable. I just couldn't use it for. mean, you could hear my voice all right, but just the whining sound was just oppressive. Couldn't make out anything with it. So I tried a few different things. I thought maybe it might have something to do with the switching power supply inside the mixer, because for whatever reason my ears tend to be fairly sensitive to higher frequencies, and I can actually hear the flyback transformers on the CRTs when they're turned on, which is something that most people can't hear. I can hear most switching power supplies when they're turned on, which is also something that most people can't hear. So I thought, well, you know, maybe just the switching power supply inside this thing is the source of the noise. So I ended up opening the thing up and trying to find a switching power supply, but I couldn't find one. It seems to just use a basic bipolar transistor as an amplifier. It's actually a pretty simple little thing inside. I got it from Radio Shack for like $30, so it's really pretty simple inside. I didn't see any obvious source of noise, so I was trying to figure out, why is there this horrible screeching sound every time I try to record with this thing. Finally, what I ended up doing is I just went and tried, I pulled out my old Sound Blaster 16 again and decided to see if I could get that working. It turned out that the sound card was fine. The sound card hadn't died at all. What had died was the slot. And I have no idea why this happened. I've never heard of this happening before, but just all of a sudden the PCI slot that I'd had the sound card plugged into just went kaput. Just stopped functioning altogether. And when I put the old Sound Blaster into a different slot, it worked perfectly. And so right now what I'm using is the same old sound card that I've been using all along to record all my Let's Plays, but a new microphone. I'm using this nice little dynamic microphone, which, I don't know, I could tell you all the specs on it, like the impedance and all that nonsense, although I don't have that in front of me right now, unfortunately, but it's basically, it's almost a professional quality microphone. It's the kind that, you know, it has an on-off switch and all that, so like I can switch it off, like switch it back on like that. So actually, I guess he couldn't hear me when it's turned off. It kind of defeats the purpose of demonstrating the on-off switch, because he can't. Anyway, okay. So yeah, the mixer and the microphone was kind of a waste, because I didn't really need that, since it turned out to just be the sound card, or not the slot, the let me try that one again. It turned out to not be the sound card that was the problem after all. It was the slot that the sound card was plugged into. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble talking because I'm trying to focus on the game, because this game is just so exciting. It's, I mean, this game is just a party in the pants. I swear, I never get tired of playing this game. Anyway, so yeah, I'm back to the same old sound card. I have a new audio setup, and I will try to use this audio setup from this point forward, because it's pretty decent actually. It gives me a good way to record audio without having to worry about the game audio overwhelming my voice, because with my old microphone, and most cheap junk PC microphones that you might try, you're going to have a hard time balancing out the game's audio such that the audio from the game doesn't overwhelm the audio from the microphone, at least if you record using Cam Studio, which is what I've been doing. Or you can do things like record the video and the audio separately, which is I believe what my friend here Crabbiness does to get around that problem, which is a rather awkward solution at best. I mean, you can do that if you're really devoted, but I'm hoping this will give me a better way to balance out my audio levels without having to do insane gymnastics with your or with my audio setup. So yeah, so in conclusion, new sound setup, same sound card. I'm hoping that my voice will sound a little bit better, a little more coherent in my future videos. And if you're looking for a sound card, the Turtle Beach Rivera is a decent sound card for doing playback, but it's abominable for recording. It was the source of the screeching noise when I was using the line-in input. It has almost completely unusable microphone inputs. The microphone input on that thing, the microphone preamp on the Rivera just is garbage. And yeah, I basically just made this video to say that, because I have a background as sort of an electrical engineer, somewhat. Well, I guess probably more on the digital side than the analog side, but I just basically wanted an opportunity to talk about things like impedances and jack sizes and dynamic versus condenser microphones, and yeah, so this yeah, that was fun. So this video is basically just an avenue for me to masturbate my my whole audio talkology, because I haven't made a video in a while and I just wanted to okay. And I'm doing horribly at this game of Kosinka, and I'm also out of time on this video, so this actually would be an excellent time to stop this video right now, because this video is kind of a train wreck and I probably shouldn't have made it in the first place, but oh well. Anyway folks, I'm back. I have a fairly workable audio setup and I'm hoping I can get back to making videos soon. Ta-ta for now folks, I'll see you later.